Hey? Hey, who's this?
Paul Elam.
What's that?
This is Paul Elam, and I'm calling for Dr. F.
Is that right, mate?
Well, yeah?
This is bloody Paul Elam, mate.
Yes?
You're the one that started that voice for thingy, yeah? On that net shit, mate, yeah?
Yeah, that would be me.
Well, isn't that interesting, because I was just having a little bit of a bloody chinwag with Dr. F about that, eh? He's not too happy.
Oh, he's not?
Can't you hear... Hang on a second. Dr. F, take it easy. Mate, I've got the call, don't you worry. It's all right, mate. Yeah, he's not too happy, and I'm not too happy, mate. Now, let me just explain something. You ready?
Well, yeah, I guess so. Go ahead.
All right, number one, I'm calling the shots here, you dickhead. You know why?
No?
Because you have bloody had a poke at my mate. You said some rotten shit, and I am not going to bloody have him right now on the phone talking to you with you giving him more of your shit. Hey, now...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, isn't that interesting, mate? Well, let me just pull up something here, shall we? Now...
Oh, by all means, please do.
Hey, you say you're Mr. Paul Elam, yeah?
Yeah?
Right now, listen up, hey. Right now, I'm reading on that net shit thing where you're saying that you're looking at Dr. F's bloody artwork and you love his artwork, you've seen his creative edge, and then you say, mate, at the end, he's not a real MRA. If he was real, he would be here like all the time, dancing and shit, painting murals, and then you say he's a lazy chook, mate. You say he's a lazy chook, mate. What's that about?
You gotta understand.
What's the matter with...
That was just a joke.
Hey?
That wasn't...
What's going on? Hey?
Well, that was just a joke. It was meant in fun. Tell you the truth, I'm not even sure what a chook is, but I've heard Dr. F say that before, but that was just a little good-natured fun. I'm sure he wasn't bothered by that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was a joke, mate.
It was a joke. You know, a joke?
Ah, shit. Yeah?
Yeah, I was just having some fun with Dr. F. We clown around that way. It's never serious. I'm sure there's no hurt feelings.
But he's on the floor in a fecal position, mate. He's crying.
He's crying right now?
Can't you hear him, mate? Oh, hang on a second. I feel like a dickhead. He's not crying, mate. He's laughing. Oh, shit.
I rest my case.
I feel like a bloody drongo, mate. I'm feeling pretty small right now. I'm feeling small. I do apologise, eh? I apologise, mate.
Oh, your apologies accepted. No problem at all.
Listen, I'll tell you what. You know how you're going to ring him up, you know, on that internet shit and talk, you know, have a bloody interview, eh? Well, how about I do it, eh?
Well, that wasn't what we talked about doing, but I wouldn't mind talking to you for a few minutes. I mean, if that's what you want to do, we've got some time.
I owe you. You rang up Dr. F to have this bloody interview. I come in like a bloody dickhead, got no sense of humour. I thought you were the bad guy. Dr. F is not in a state right now to talk with you because he's laughing and shit. I'm going to take the interview, mate. I've got all my questions here ready, mate.
So let's go ahead and do it.
All right. Now, let's start off with the first one because I wrote them all out, mate.
Oh, you've been planning on this.
Hey! When I thought that you were a dickhead, but I don't think that now, because you explained yourself and shit. When I thought that you were a dickhead, I wrote out all these questions, and I'm ready to go. Yeah?
Okay.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. When was the last time that you suckled on a donkey's nut? Oh, right. Hang on a second, mate. Hang on. That's no good. Hang on. That question's no good. All right, we'll try again. When you were a Cub Scout, did you fantasize... Oh, shit. Hang on. Wait. That's no good. That's no good. All right. When you fucked a dog... No, hang on. That's no good. No, that's no good. All right. Now, Mr. Elam, when you masturbate... Oh, shit. Sorry, mate. You got to remember that I was in a bloody rotten mood when I wrote all these questions out. I'll get to the good ones in a second. Hang on.
Oh, that's when you thought
Yes.
that I had been mean to him. Okay.
Yeah, you got to understand that blokes here in Australia... We look after our mates, eh? So hang on a second, that's no good. No, talking about dicks and cocks. Fucking talking about how you stink like a rotten. No, that's not. Oh, no, that's gone. Hang on. No, that's no good. That goes. That's no good. Ah! Oh, I think I've got something here, mate. All right. Let's get into the first question, mate. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Now, Mr. Elam, you organised and initiated that A Voice for Men shit, yeah? On that net thing, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Now, what the hell is all that stuff about, mate? Hey?
Well, it's a men's rights website. What we do is we talk about things that affect men and boys, from everywhere from the U.S. to Canada to England to Australia, all across the Western world.
Yeah? Right. So if you're a Sheila and you're reading that, would you take offence, mate?
Some of them, yeah.
Why would they? Why wouldn't they take offence, mate?
Well, that's part of the reason we're there, is because not only do a lot of women take offense to it, a lot of men take offense to it, but it's because we have a lot of bad perceptions about what men are supposed to be and even what women are supposed to be. And those are the sort of things we talk about. And when you talk about change, people get upset.
Whoa. Stop the bloody presses, mate, eh? Put your bloody ratchet in the rollers. Hang on a minute, mate. Are you saying to me right now on that net shit now that we're talking, on Skype and stuff, that if you want to talk about rights and shit for blokes, that people are going to take that umbrage thing, yeah?
It's a very good word. They take umbrage to it. They certainly do. A lot of people do.
Why? I don't get that, mate.
Well, the idea is that in a lot of people's minds that men are better off if they just shut up and don't talk about having rights. And where their rights are taken away, they need to shut up there too, because if you give a man rights, then you probably are taking something away from a woman.
But hang on a second. Society, right? You know that stuff that's all around us. You know, society, newspapers and televisions and them films and all that, right? They say that bloody blokes have got too much power, mate. You're here, right? And you're saying that blokes have got to have more rights than Sheilas? What's going on, mate?
No, I didn't say they had to have more rights. I said that they needed to have as many rights. So tell me, you just brought up something really good about men having all this power. Where is it?
Mate, I don't know. Hang on a second. What about that patriarchy thing? I've been reading up about all that stuff in them newspapers and that. Patriarchy. Keeps on coming back at me. Patriarchy. What's all that about, mate?
Well, I need to ask you the same thing about that I asked you about the power men have. I'll ask you about patriarchy. Where is it?
You know, you got the bloody power in the courts, and you got the power in the, those bloody offices where blokes go with their ties and their suits and shit, sit around tables, having free lunches and stuff.
You ever been in a family court?
No, mate.
You ever know anybody, a guy that's been in a family court?
Oh, joy, ever.
Any of them tell you about all the power they had in there?
Well, now that you mention it, I'm telling you, my old mate Digger Mullaney, he's got a couple of tractors like me. He was bloody short shafted, he tells me, by Sheila. Ran off with the land, most of his tractors, business, it's all gone to her, mate. And all he wanted to do was see his kids, And you know something else? Now that I'm thinking about it, it didn't work in his case. He's bloody rooted, mate. He's rooted.
I guess the patriarchy wasn't very good for him.
But it does exist, mate. Come on now, I'm going to play that advocate devil thing, It exists, yeah?
Okay, where?
Hang on. Don't you go anywhere. I'm going to do that devil's thing. You wait.
In the words of Adlai Stevenson, I'll wait till hell freezes over.
Jeez, mate, you're brainy with all them quotes and shit. Okay, mate. When you go to Hollywood and you got the 100 top people with all the power and shit and money, how many of them are blokes more than 50, I'm telling you, mate?
So a whole 100 you're talking about there, huh?
The top 100, mate, Yeah?
Okay, the top 100. Now, let's take a city like Los Angeles. It's got about 7 million people in it, I guess, 3.5 million men.
Yeah.
And you got 100 with power.
Yeah.
Let's say you got 500 with power. Let's say you got 1,000 with power. Let's say you got 2,000 with power.
Wow, that's
still
a lot.
3.5 million men working in sewers, digging ditches, climbing light poles, do those guys have the power? Is that the patriarchy?
Hang on, what about the blokes that are climbing ladders to adjust the power and give more or less power, you know, like on the telephone lines? Oh, hang on, I'm thinking too concretely. You're talking about power in society, mate.
Well, yeah, when you're talking about patriarchy, that's what you mean, is power in society. Right. We're not talking about black power.
It's not the same thing, eh, mate?
No, Andy, it's not the same thing. It's a little bit different.
You have to understand, mate, people have said I'm a little bit, you know, like a bit of a cement head and I've got no sense of humour. So if you can just understand that from the get-go, eh, just explain stuff to me. Look, I'll give you an example, right?
Andy, don't worry about that. I'll listen. You know, what I do, I spend a lot of time talking to people that don't get this. In other words, I run across cement heads all the time. That's most of the people, so you don't worry about a thing.
Oh, mate, I am a cement head, eh? I am quick fix. Let me explain something at you. It's on my conscience. It's burning away, eh? I want you to listen, eh? You know before how I was going right stinky on you and I had a couple of stink eyes looking at you at the beginning of this phone call, eh? Remember that?
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember.
You remember how my eyebrow was shaped like one great big hairy letter V when I was looking at you?
Yeah, I thought it was going to lift right off of your face and float to the ceiling.
Oh, you don't mean that literally. You mean like, you know, just as metaphorically. Yep, see, that's an example of what I'm talking about, eh? I've got to catch up. Anyway, I was thinking, beginning of the phone call, that you are off like a bucket of crabs that have been left too long in the sun, eh? But now, I don't think that, and I'm going to stretch my wings, and I'm going to explain how I think of you now in a metaphorical sense, because I'm going to be brainy and shit like you. I no longer think you're like that. I think you're like really fresh seafood, eh? You're like a fish that jumped right out of the ocean onto someone's plate, mate, ready to be eaten, eh? You're that fresh, eh?
That is the best compliment I've heard all day. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, that's how I see you, mate. You're bloody gorgeous, eh? Thanks, by the way, for understanding that. All right, now here's my next question, eh? You ready?
All right, let's go.
All right, now, Paul Elam of that Advice for Men shit on that net.
That's a voice for men. A voice, not a vice.
Oh, a voice foreman. Gotcha. All right, I have been reading all them newspapers and shit, and I have been seeing that Sheilas are walking around the streets, eh? And they have been stripped of their land, and they don't bloody make as much money as blokes. Something like, I don't know, 75 cents or some shit, when a bloke makes $1, eh? What's all that about, mate?
Well, it's about their choices. How many women do you see climbing to the top of telephone poles to work on wires? That's a pretty good paying job.
Yeah, but that's for blokes, eh? It's like giving the blokes more money, just so they can climb up a pole, mate. What's the matter with you?
Well, sometimes the guys climb up there and they get shocked and killed, or they fall or get injured. That's the reason more men take those jobs. And by the way, those guys up there making that little bit of extra money, most of them are doing what? They're taking care of a woman at home. They're out there doing it. Women tend to choose jobs that enhance their lifestyle, where they can work less hours, where they can work in less dangerous, more comfortable conditions. And those jobs tend to pay less than jobs that are much more physically demanding, that put you in the elements, and that put you at risk of being injured or killed. So there's your pay difference. It's what they choose to do. And when half the women are out there doing the jobs that are lethal and dangerous, then you will see that pay difference will just go away like magic.
Oh, right, mate. Hang on a second. I just had one of them epiphany things, eh? You know those epiphany things, mate?
Oh, yes, I understand epiphanies.
Them bloody epiphanies, I tell you. I'm going a little bit swirly here, mate. I'm just trying to catch up, eh? Okay, so what you're saying, correct me if I'm bloody wrong, eh? If you're going to put your nuts on the line, up on a telephone pole, it's the same like you're washing windows on a skyscraper, or you're down a hole, digging away, nipping away, looking for some bloody gold or some coal and shit. You get all them lung diseases and all this sort of stuff. Or it's like hunting for fish in the Atlantic Ocean where you might get tossed overboard, eh? Yeah?
Then you get paid more money.
That's what you're saying, mate? That's the trade-off, yeah?
That's the trade-off. Pay equity is measured in how many blisters you have on your hands.
So it's not like you get a bloke and you get a Sheila and they're working in a job, mate. The bloke gets more money and the Sheila gets less money for that same job, eh?
No, there's really no pay difference at all between men and women. Employers are foolish to do that. They would be sued immediately. And a lot of times they're sued when it's not even happening. No, employers don't, it doesn't make good business sense to discriminate and pay between employees. It makes no sense at all. They generally don't do it. I can't think of a case in many years where it's been actually demonstrated that women were paid less than men for doing the same job. What you're reading about in the newspaper is some propaganda from feminists that are telling people that women don't make the same money, but what they're not saying is that they're comparing a receptionist in a corporation to the CEO, who happens to be a male and has sacrificed family life and his personal life and everything else for years to be where he is. And they're saying that the difference in pay between the receptionist and the CEO is pay discrimination. It's not.
Wow, I just had another one of them epiphanies things, mate. Whoa, that's 2 epiphanies in about 5 minutes, mate.
I'm glad to hear that. It's wonderful.
I can't believe that I was talking about all this shit about you before. You're a good bloke, mate. You're a good bloke. I had you pegged all wrong, eh? You know? I can't believe I actually fell for that shit, mate. Eh? Yeah?
Well, a lot of people fall for it. You know, if you tell somebody a lie enough times, they tend to believe it. We have an instinct as men to protect women. You know about that, right?
Oh, yeah, mate. Oh, yeah, mate.
And when we feel like people are picking on women, it's very natural for us to just react very quickly to come to their defense. And a lot of times we don't think about it. And that's what A Voice for Men does, is in many ways, our whole mission is to tell people, hey, just stop and think about it for a minute, and then we can know what to do.
You know, it's pretty amazing. You just made me think of something. You know, last summer, mate, I fitted all of my tractors with a sidecar, eh? You know why I did that? So I could pick up Sheilas on the side of the road when I'm going to the pub, eh? Because I drive my tractor everywhere. Sometimes I see a Sheila walking on the road. Maybe it's raining. Maybe there's no umbrella and shit. And I stop my tractor and I say, get in, love. I don't want you to be harmed by the elements and shit. Yeah, eh?
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to do that anymore. And that's that instinct thing what you were just talking at me about, yeah?
Absolutely the same thing.
Oh, prong me with a fish fork. I've got a lot of catching up to do, mate. All right, here's my next question, eh?
All right.
I have been reading in the newspaper lately that about half of every single Sheila at one point or other gets really clocked around by the bloke that they're sharing their life with, mate. They get biffed this way and that, and they have a rotten time at home because the bloke, he does the wrong thing, eh? Half of every single bloody Sheila. What's the story, mate? Surely you got to believe that.
Well, let me ask you something, Andy. Was that the same newspaper that told you that they made less money than men?
Nah, mate, different one, eh?
Are you sure about that?
Yes, mate.
Okay. Well, let me put it this way. There's some women that get knocked around. There's men. Did you know that there's men that get knocked around, too? That get beat up by their wives?
Is that right, mate?
Oh, yeah. Do you ever read about that in the newspaper?
How come I never hear about it, mate? What's going on?
Well, I was going to ask you that. Do you ever read about men getting beat up in the newspaper?
No, I don't, and that makes me think there's no bloody problem, mate. It doesn't happen to blokes, eh? Yeah?
That's right. If you depended on newspapers for your information, you would know that what you've already told me in this conversation, that men have all the power, they lead privileged lives, they make more money than women, and of course they never come to any harm at the hands of a woman. But surely you've seen stories at some time or another in your life about women killing their husbands or beating them or stabbing them or doing terrible things to them.
Wow. Hang on a second. I've got you. I'm just playing that advocate devil's thing, mate. Don't worry. It's not me in real life. I'm just doing that devil thing, mate. I have to pull you up here. Because in every single one of them cases where the chick does the wrong thing, they have always got a bloody good reason for it. They had the period and it was really bad. They were in a really crook mood because they themselves were beaten around and it was self-defense, mate. And there's that other thing. What's that other one? Something about the patriarchy and... Oh, no, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, mate, eh? Yeah? Hormones and shit, mate. That's what it was about. Every time. That's why they get let off, mate.
Because they got a good reason, right?
Yeah,
because they
mate.
a bad child.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. When you were growing up, did you ever know any other boys that got beat up at home?
Yes, mate.
Lots of them, right?
Yep.
And do you think maybe some of those boys grew up and hit their wives?
Yes, mate.
Now, did you ever hear one of those newspapers saying that was an excuse?
Mate. Whoa. I'm telling you, it's bloody epiphany city here, eh? Eh?
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Geez, you're bloody fresh seafood.
You see, men are about half the victims of domestic violence, but we don't talk about them. We want men to take it. We want them to take it with their mouths closed. We especially, the same way that you put some money into putting that sidecar on your tractors, we want to take money and we want to put them into services to help rescue women, because that's what we do. That's what we've always done. You talk about men having power. Where do you see any of us trying to rescue men?
Geez, mate, can I just tell you a little bit of a story here, eh? Yeah?
Sure thing, Andy.
All right. As you know, mate, I am the original founder of the Tractor and Machinery Parts Association International, eh? Yeah? And it's gone viral on that net shit, mate, yeah? Anyway, Brown Angels, we get together and we discuss who we can help within our organisation, mate. Now, last year, Norm Malukas, he's a bloody great mate of mine, he was down in his luck, eh? So we all just bloody chipped in, we scraped our coins together, we got him out of the jam that he was in, eh, mate? Hey, he was a bit of a gambler, he went to rehab, got some money back, he's back on his tractor, he's a bloody great brown angel. Now, in that example, eh, we all got our coins together, eh, and we helped someone that was down, right? Yeah, you got it?
Absolutely. It was a good thing you did, too. Very nice thing to do. But let me ask you something, Andy. Did you help him because he was a man?
You just bloody cut me off at the pass, eh? I was just about to explain. Is that the same thing with the Sheilas in society and people getting their coins together and helping out the Sheilas, mate? Is that the bloody same thing, eh? Because they're downtrodden, eh?
Well, no, it's not. It's absolutely not. The reason that it's different, Andy, is because when we help women, we help them because they're women. We help men frequently because they're in straits, but we're helping a gambler, or we're helping an alcoholic, or we're helping somebody that's depressed. But we don't, for instance, look at depression and suicide, which is almost overwhelmingly a male problem, since 4 out of 5 suicides are men. We raise money to do something about suicide, but we don't raise money to do something about male suicide. If the numbers were anywhere near reversed, if it were half of suicides were women, which it's nowhere near half, we would have campaigns everywhere and be wearing little pink ribbons and all kinds of other paraphernalia to raise money to help women who are prone to suicide.
Yeah, mate. I think I'm starting to bloody turn the corner with this shit, mate. And you just made me think of something else, eh? Ribbons. What the hell is all this white ribbon shit, mate? What the hell is Before you answer, let me explain something at you, okay? Last week we had a Tractors, Parts and Machinery Association meeting. We get together sometimes, it's informal. We have a bit of a laugh, down some beers, talk about Sheilas and all this sort of shit. Yeah, mate, eh? Yeah, you with me? You know what bloody well happened? There was about half the blokes there were wearing these white bloody ribbons. And I said, what's the story with the bloody white ribbons? And you know what happened then? They blushed. They put their head down, they turned away, they were down in the dumps, and the whole evening was just bloody wrecked. No one explained it to me. What's going on, mate? Eh? Eh? What's all that about, mate? Go on, I'm just getting mad just thinking about how the night was wrecked.
Well, I'm not surprised it was messed up. Well, you want to know what white ribbons are for?
Didn't pay your tax or some shit?
Well, you notice how the guys bowed their head, they were embarrassed. White ribbons are a tool to make you feel bad for being a man. We talked about domestic violence and how that it happens to men and we don't talk about it. Well, it's actually a little bit worse than just that. We not only don't talk about the domestic violence that happens to men, we don't just ignore that. We also come at all men in our culture now and we say, you're all responsible for domestic violence toward women. So you all need to wear this white ribbon. It's a badge of shame. They call it a pledge to confront other men about violent attitudes and to make sure that men aren't beating up on women anymore. But that's not really what it is.
Wow.
It is a tool to make you feel terrible for being a man in the first place,
wow,
and to help keep your mouth shut about male victims.
So what you're saying, mate, is the whole thing is just like a bloody scam, and it's just to make blokes feel like shit, yeah?
Exactly.
Bloody well worked last Thursday, mate.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised that it did.
It
works very easily on men. You remember you talked about putting that sidecar. Nobody even had to tell you to put sidecars on your tractor. You just did it because you wanted to do something for women. Most men, when you come up to them and say, here, do this for women, even if it means do something that makes you look like something you're not, which is an abuser or a potential abuser, men will usually do it. They'll dress up in high heels and dresses and walk a mile in her shoes and humiliate themselves publicly so that they can get approval for agreeing with ideas that are, well, I don't know another word for it, they're bullshit.
Dollops of steaming dingo dung, mate. That's it.
Precisely.
You know something, mate? You've inspired me. Can I explain something at you?
Absolutely.
You know how I mentioned how I put all these bloody sidecars on all my tractors, mate? You know something? I'm going to be ripping them down, and I'm going to be turning them all into a giant windmill, mate. And that windmill is going to be powering a generator, which is going to be attached to a neon sign, mate. And that neon sign is going to say, I don't believe all this bloody patriarchy shit anymore, mate.
I think that's a great idea, but I have another one you might consider too. How about the idea of leaving the sidecars on your tractors and offering anybody, man or woman, that needs a ride?
Yeah? Oh, I get you, mate. You're saying I can still do nice things at society, but I just have to make it even Stevens, like a random thing, eh? Could be a bloke, could be a Sheila. Who knows what's going on, eh? Anyone that's in a jam, they can just jump in, eh? Not just the Sheilas, like I was thinking before, eh? Yeah?
Yeah, I'm kind of saying, what about the idea of just helping people?
Right, mate. Bloody...
Instead of driving past the guy that needs a lift so that the poor helpless little woman doesn't have to walk.
Mate, are you an engineer in real life, eh?
No, sir.
Well, I'm telling you something right now. You have been constructing a whole city of epiphanies, mate, in my skull.
I'm glad to know.
Yep, it's all lit up like bloody Las Vegas, mate. And then the signs are telling me things are bloody different now with me, eh? I just can't believe it. I have been bullshitted to, mate. I am, you know what, I'm at the same time I'm starting to feel a little bit depressed, mate. I'm starting to feel a little bit jacked off, eh? It's all coming together, eh? How long's it going to take with me feeling like this shit, mate, eh? Yeah?
It'll take a long time. You may feel that way a little bit for the rest of your life because these problems aren't going to go away anytime soon. But you can be a part of the solution right now. All you got to do is decide you're going to have a hot time in Epiphanyville every day.
So that's like that red pill shit, mate?
Absolutely. That is the red pill.
So you're saying I just ate that red pill, yeah? Wow.
Eat them all.
Wow, mate.
You can't overdose on them. They're good for you.
Really? Doesn't stuff up my blood sugar, mate? Doesn't give me bloody piles?
No, you might even live a little bit longer if you're a little more busy taking care of yourself and your fellow human beings than worried about what's happening to the next woman you see.
Is that right, mate?
Possible.
This is just amazing. All right, now I've got a couple more questions for you. You ready?
All right.
All right, here's my next one. When you have sex with goats and you're on the verge of coming, do you throw back your head and say, this one's for you, baby Jesus, or is this one for you, grandmummy? Oh, sorry, mate, that one slipped through. I'm sorry, just ignore that question, mate. That was when I was angry. I do apologise, eh?
No problem, Andy.
Oh, jeez, I'm a donk. Mate, can you forgive me, eh? Yeah?
Absolutely not a problem.
That one doesn't count, mate. Yeah?
No, just pretend like I never heard it.
Oh, jeez. We're going to go to some music now, and when we come back, I'm going to do some more talking at you, yeah? You can explain all this shit, yeah?
Absolutely.
Love it. All right, see you in a bit. You don't go anywhere, mate. You hang on. You wait there.
Right here.
Why must my days be long? Why should they be Monday? I know there's so much more. When will I walk this door? I need to be somebody free. I need the world to see how bad I'd like to be. I know the girls go mad when they see someone bad. I need to be somebody free. I'm gonna be a movie man. Gonna be a bad man. Gonna fire my gun into the night. If I'm in the mood tonight. Join the band and live. Tattoos right up to my ears. I found myself a tiny gun. I'll be a bad son of a gun. I need to be somebody free. Man, you see, I need to be somebody free. I'm gonna be a movie man. I'm gonna be a bad man. Into the night. If I'm in the mood tonight, I'm gonna be a movie man. I'm gonna be a bad man. Gonna fire my gun into the night. If I'm in the mood tonight.
Now what you just heard was a song by Alcazar, and that song is called Bad Bad Man. That's right, Bad Bad Man. Just like this bloke here I'm talking to, eh? This Paul Elam bloke. But anyway, if you want to know more about this music, just go onto YouTube on that net shit and just type in the words The Wattle Band. That's right, The Wattle Band. And all Alcazar's music comes up, mate. It's easy, eh? And I bloody love it, eh? So let's get into this again. All right now, Paul, on that net shit. At Monash University, which is in Victoria, right, where I am, here in Australia, there's been all these posters going up, eh? Talking about equal rights for blokes. And there is a bloody fecal storm going there, mate, eh? What is the story with all that? You read about that, mate? Yeah?
Oh, yeah, I read about it. Well, what's going on there is that some posters are going up that are pretty much saying the same things we've been talking about here. Except, you know, much shorter version of it because they're just little posters being put up in areas that people put posters up. But that truth, like we talked about upsetting or offending a lot of people, has gotten to some of the feminists in that area. And they're doing what feminists do when somebody tells them the truth. They're throwing a tantrum. And they are organizing, so they say, to have rallies and an agenda to, I don't know exactly what their intent is, to voice their disapproval of a voice for men, men having rights, and of men talking, and of men being able to put posters where everybody else puts posters.
Hang on a second, mate. I do apologise. I don't want to cut you off and shit, but you just explained at me before that there's nothing wrong with the site, A Voice for Men, yeah? That site, what you started up, because all you're trying to do is talk about equal rights. I don't get that, mate. I don't get that.
Well, that's the problem. That's why we have a voice. And by the way, it's not for men, it's for men.
Oh, sorry, mate. A voice for men. Gotcha.
But that's the problem, Andy, is that people don't want men to have the same voice that everybody else does in our society. They want us to shut up and keep shoveling. Unfortunately, a lot of what we're shoveling is their shit, and men are finally starting to wake up and saying, hey, you know what? I don't like the feel of this shovel in my hand. I think I'll grab a poster. And with that happening, that's a threat to a lot of people. These people have been running the show about this dialogue for a long time, and now they're getting the signal that somebody else has something to say. And you know, when you're used to having the floor, you know, you've met people before that they're used to being the only one in the room talking.
Yeah, mate.
That if they're quiet, they're either taking a sip out of their drink or they're just waiting for the next moment to cut in where they can start talking. Well, that's what these people are like. They're used to having their way, and, you know, they're not going to get their way forever. And it's starting to show. So they're having their little tantrum, and they're threatening to not only rip our posters down, but to have protests against us. And of course, we want them to do that, both because it's right that they do have free expression of their ideas, but mainly because it makes them idiots that we can use to pass our message along. And they're very good at being idiots.
Right, mate. So you're saying it's like a bloody ball of snow that rolls around, eh? Yeah, it gets bigger.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what's happening right now. The posters that you told me about, that's just one place. They're going up in other places in Australia. They're going up in England. They're going all across Canada right now in several cities. And then even there in Canada, there have been one physical attack over the posters. There's been another person threatened somebody with a crutch, of all things, for putting up posters. There is an organization in Edmonton, Alberta, that is pledged to stop us from putting up the posters. What these people don't get is, of course, all they're going to get for their efforts is more posters. And like I said, this is the way we like it. Because the more you try to tell a guy, once he's taken that red pill, the more you try to tell those guys to not do something, the more that's what they're going to do. We welcome these protests. We welcome the temper tantrums from the feminists. We welcome their little histrionic outbursts, and they can have all the parades they want. Just spell the name of the website correctly.
You just made me think of something, mate. It's like an analogy, right? Yeah? You know, like those analogy things? I'm trying to think not so bloody literally. I'm trying to get some kind of non-cementy kind of thinking here. I'm practicing at it. I struggle, but, mate, I'll get there, eh? Now, you just reminded me of the Brown Angels, how we like to do our tricks on tractors, our formations, you know, like the diamond skid pinata and the pretzel curve, all this sort of shit. And I'm thinking that when we're taking the floor, everyone is watching and there are parades and there's cheering. And, nah, mate, that's not an analogy. It's got nothing to do with it. Bloody irrelevant, isn't it? Mate, there's nothing there. I've got nothing. That was ridiculous. Can we scrub that, mate? That's not...
Yeah, we can scrub that.
I was just thinking like a bloody cement head. All right, mate. No analogies. I'll do them when I get a bit better at it. I'll just practice at the mirror when I'm on my own, because I'm making a bloody arse of myself, eh? All right, now here's another question for you, yeah?
All right.
Now, why did you want to do all this shit in the first place, eh?
Well, that's a really good question, because somebody needs to, Andy. We have a suicide rate that is 80% men. We have a workplace mortality rate that's 93% men. We have a combat death rate that's 99% men. We have so many things going on with men in education. They're falling out left and right, and it's getting worse all the time. We're doping up young boys in schools. We're dragging good fathers through family courts, stealing their homes from them, their property, and their children, and nobody wants to talk about it. So why am I doing this? Well, because it's the right thing to do. You know, the whole point of feminism claimed to be to help people that were disadvantaged. That was their whole raison d'etre. It was their whole reason of being, was to help people that were disadvantaged. And so logically and morally, feminists should embrace the men's movement. They should be supportive of it if they're not bloody fucking hypocrites. But since they are, they don't. This stuff needs to be done. The courts need to be fixed. Men need to know that they have options besides digging in a coal mine to take care of a wife. Men need to know that they're worth staying alive. They need to know that their role of protector and provider is often a trap that ends up with them dead, and that same thing can and will happen to their son. So the whole point of the men's movement is just to get that message across to men and to foster an attitude of compassion for men so that we actually feel something for their struggles and pain, and so that we don't pat them on the back for catching bullets and for getting their legs blown off so that somebody can fill their car with a gasoline that's 5 cents a gallon cheaper. There's a lot wrong, a lot to face. But like I said, somebody has to do it, and that's what we want to do.
So you're saying that you're a man of consciousness, mate?
Well, what I'm saying is I'm a man that doesn't like injustice very much.
And you're also saying, correct me if I'm wrong here, that the wool has been pulled right over our skull globes, mate.
Absolutely. I'm saying that without hesitation, that most people, like 98%, walk around totally unconscious of what men actually do, what their experiences are, what they live through, and what they die from. And this includes almost all men. Men are so programmed to keep taking it with their mouth shut that they learn how to shut their mouths inside too, and they learn at a very young age.
So you're saying they're sleepwalking and shit like I've seen in them horror movies and stuff, yeah?
That's right, brother. The red pill is a wake-up pill.
Oh, jeez, mate. I'm telling you, I'm getting a little bit bloody scared here. I'm thinking about all this stuff. I don't know what's going on, mate, but I'm telling you, things are happening, mate, in my skull, eh, yeah?
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah? I've been thinking about this. Now, I went to that site, A Voice for Men. I said it right, mate, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Very good.
I didn't say a vice for men, or a voice foreman, or a vice foreman. I got it right. A Voice for Men, right? And I was shuffling through the old archives there, and I check out this bloody article where there's this woman called Tory Sheep Collector, Tory Cattle, Tory Shepherd, and she was saying that you hate Sheilas, mate. Now, I am going to ask you a closed-ended question, and that is that true, mate?
Absolutely not. I hate liars and idiots, and Tory Shepherd is both. But women? No, I don't have a problem with women.
But she's a woman. You're not having to go at her because she's a Sheila, are you, mate? Yeah?
No, I had to go with her because she's a moron.
Hang on. Whoa. I can be a bit of a moron. You haven't had to go at me, mate.
Well, no, but you're not a mean moron.
All right, I get you. I can be a moron, but I got to explain, sometimes I can be bloody smart, eh? Let's not forget about the brown angels, mate.
I think you're plenty smart.
Good on you, mate.
No, but the answer to your question is absolutely not. I don't hate women. I've got no reason to. I really hate dishonest, harmful people that try to do damage to others, and Tory Shepherd does a lot of that. As a matter of fact, she makes her living at it. Yeah, I've got some issues with her, and I'll continue to.
All right, because some people have said that you're a bloody poofter, mate, yeah? You're a pillow biter, yeah? You like taking it up the clacker, yeah? Is that true, mate?
Was that from your earlier questions?
No, mate, that's a real one, eh? You know, I'm just explaining what other people have said at you. Yeah?
Are you asking if I'm gay?
Yes, mate.
No, I'm happy, but I'm not gay.
Oh, so you actually live with a Sheila, yeah?
Yes, 10 years now.
Oh, congratulations, mate. Happy birthday of that relationship thing, yeah?
Thank you very much.
Is she happy with you, mate?
You would have to ask her, but my guess would be yes. She's still here after 10 years, and I don't hear a lot of complaining, so I think everything looks pretty good.
Is she there, mate? I want to have a bit of a chinwag with her, yeah? Yeah?
No, it's 3 o'clock in the morning here. She's in bed.
Oh, mate, I thought it would be the same time that it is here, eh? Yeah?
No, there's a time difference between Australia and Texas.
Oh, is it like a time warp thing, like in the science movies, eh? Yeah.
Not quite that extreme, but there's a lot of different time zones. So I don't know what time it is where you are there, but here it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's only 8 minutes past 6 in the evening, mate, yeah?
Well, yeah, if it was 6 in the evening here, you could talk to my partner.
So you're saying, mate, that right now it's a different time, yeah?
Yes.
'Cause you're far away, mate.
Exactly.
Jeez, I've just had another epiphany, but it doesn't relate to that MRA shit, yeah?
Okay.
Oh, mate, you're a bucket of knowledge, I'm telling you. A bloody big bucket, eh? Now, I've got another question for you, yeah? I'm gonna ask it at you, yeah? It's a beauty.
All right, I'm ready for it.
It's like that bloody Alcazar song, A Perfect World, yeah? Here we go. So what would a perfect world look like to you, Mr. Elam, yeah, on that net shit?
Well, I think a perfect world would mean 72 virgins making me sandwiches.
Mate, are you serious? Because that just goes against everything what you've been telling me, eh? Oh,
no,
yeah,
that was a joke.
You were making a joke.
I gotcha.
Oh, mate, so you were making a joke, yeah?
Yeah.
So you were being like an ironicalist, yeah?
Well, I don't know if I'd call it irony. I was just pulling your leg.
No, mate. Knock it off, eh? Hey, come on now. I'm trying hard here, eh? You bloody showing me up as a bit of a dickhead, eh? Yeah? Oh, jeez, all right.
A perfect world, I wish I knew what one looked like. But I tell you what, I know what it doesn't look like.
What's that, mate?
To make the world better, I would like some things to change so that men can have a voice, so that they can talk about the struggles in their lives, so they can talk about the injustices that happen to them, and so that the world around them is kind of in a place where it sort of has to listen and acknowledge that men sacrifice a lot. We got them laying dead in battlefields all over the world right now, mostly for corporations. And at the same time, we're telling everybody how powerful men are and how they have too much power and they need it taken from them. I tell you what, I'm a veteran myself, and I've seen a lot of guys come back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and I've seen 18, 19-year-old boys in wheelchairs with no legs. They didn't look like they had any power to me. And I'm not saying we can fix all this stuff overnight or even in 100 years. But the thing is right now, Andy, we're not even starting. We're not even beginning to look or acknowledge the problems. And my perfect world would be one where we started doing that.
Mate, so you're like a bloody workhorse of your consciousness, eh, yeah?
Well, if that's the way you want to put it, fine. I just consider myself a guy with something to do that's important. And hopefully I can help get something done.
Mate, I don't know where to begin to explain at you how you have quite possibly changed my bloody existence on this planet, yeah?
Well, I'm very honored to hear you say something like that, Andy.
Mate, it's all different now, I'm telling you. The weather has changed in my skull. I'm looking at things a whole bunch differently, eh? Yeah? What's that thing you called? Mangina? That shit, mate? Yeah? I reckon I was probably a bit of a mangina, mate.
Oh, well, we can't have that.
You know, looking after Sheilas because they're Sheilas, eh? What about a bloody fair go for everybody because they're Homo sapiens, mate? Oh, boy. Everything is different now. Everything is different. Listen, before we sign off, because you got to go to bed and shit, yeah? Get your beauty sleep, because I'm looking at your mug now. I'm telling you, mate, if I was gay, I wouldn't go for you, eh? Yeah?
I'm very relieved to know that, Andy.
I just tell it as it is, mate, you know? But I know that inside you're beautiful. But outside, yeah, you know. Anyway. Anyway, mate, look, I just want to thank you very much for your time and shit. And Dr. F...
You're very welcome.
Yeah, Dr. F seems to have recovered and all this sort of stuff. He's actually in a fecal ball right now. He's asleep on the floor, mate.
You mean a fetal ball?
Yeah, that too, mate. With the letter T. What's that?
Yeah, a fecal ball is something a little bit different.
What's that, mate? Is it that thing that those beetles roll around with?
I think you'd have to ask Toy Shepherd about that.
Oh, mate, because you're making a joke. Like,
see there, you're getting better every time.
Ah, jeez, another bloody epiphany. You have ratcheted me up one notch on the bloody smart scale. I'm getting there, mate. I'm getting there. All right, now listen, you have a bloody good night. And listen, hey, can I give a ring at you at another date and we talk about more shit, yeah, mate, yeah? Because people need to hear about this shit, yeah? Can we do that, yeah, mate, yeah?
Absolutely. Anytime you want to, Andy, I'd be honored.
Oh, and one more thing, mate, before we go. I am telling you, how about when you come down to Australia, you and I can ride off into the sunset on my favourite tractor called the Digger Maloney McTaggart, a Scoob Brack Mabanja Buck to the Venter McGee. They don't make them anymore because the name's too long, but hey, my favourite tractor, yeah?
Can I ride in the sidecar?
Mate, you can bloody take the wheel as far as I'm concerned, and I'll sit in the sidecar, eh?
Sounds like a deal.
Good on you, matey. See you, eh?
All right, take care, Andy.